As we are still in the midst of a global pandemic, we have turned to different ways of protecting ourselves from that dreaded virus. And one of those things is what is called a face shield, which serves as a second or third level protection, depending if you're wearing one or two face masks. Now, these face shields, unlike face masks, are not mandatory to be worn universally. So there are places where face shields are not mandatory to wear, and other places like here, which the authorities made them mandatory. As such, there is a debate going on as to how effective these face shields are as this second or third level of protection in keeping the virus at bay. Now, this is not a science website, so I'm not going to delve into those scientific arguments. What I will tackle here, though, is another aspect of the debate about face shields as to how usable they are because of the different levels of visibility that they offer. So at this point, I have 3 different face shields, and I'll be discussing each one of them and their merits or demerits as well. Okay, so this is the first type of face shield that I have. This one has a soft plastic, and there are also rubber, how do you call them? Don't know what to call them, but these are like rubber stamps that fit into these holes, and this frame of an eyeglass plastic, made of plastic. So the idea is this plastic is connected to this eyeglass frame, and you just punch these rubber things to the hole on the side, and you got a face shield. This, like I said, this is the more affordable or cheaper of the variants. And actually, what I have, this is the more high end of the soft plastic type of face shields, because they actually have a better quality of the plastic from what I know. The eyeglass frame is also a bit more comfortable compared to the cheaper ones, and they also provide somewhat better visibility. Now, regardless of that, the drawback of these soft plastic types is that they tend to be a bit more susceptible to the elements, although they are easy to clean by just running them in the faucet and then wiping them with preferably with a tissue or cloth. But still, these are not made to be long-lasting because, if there's like a wind or other accidents, the plastic would be damaged until it's rendered unusable anymore. But to be honest, this is the type of face shield that I more often use because of the visibility. It is comfortable to wear, and that it's easy to clean. And I guess that is why the soft plastic face shield is the more popular type of face shields being used, at least from what I see on my end. Now, there are also variants of the soft plastic face shield which have like a sort of like a sponge at the top, and instead of this eyeglass frame, it's like a band that you just wear on a head like a headpiece. So the sponge serves to absorb the sweat that comes from the forehead. I've had one of those before, but the problem with those types of face shields is that since it's one that is worn, it's the area around here is more susceptible to damage than these eyeglass inspired types. And as far as visibility, they're not really good for visibility purposes. I'll talk about the visibility thing in a bit, but basically it's especially for someone who is who tends to breathe a lot. So if you're wearing these face masks and then you breathe out, it depending on the type of plastic, the fog from your breath covers the the plastic and it makes it all foggy. So you have to remove it and wipe it, or sometimes what some people do is that they just wear it like this, like a visor. And why people wear it as a visor? Because of that visibility problem. So there's that. Now the second type of face shield that I have here is the hard plastic type. There are different variants, but basically they have this also this eyeglass frame, and then instead of a soft plastic that you connect with a rubber, this one is in this type, that's a hard plastic glued in, so you don't have to connect anything, so you just wear it like this. The advantage of this type of face shield is that it's more durable, so it's less susceptible to easy damage by the elements or some sort. Also, because they have different styles to this hard plastic type, they can be stylish to use. So because if you had these soft plastic, since it's more common, it's become more, fashion wise, it doesn't really impress, as opposed to these where there are lots of variants, even lots of not only with the frame but also with the shape of the plastic. They come in different styles and shapes. So if you're a more stylish person, you'll have fun wearing these. As for the disadvantage, though, basically it's the visibility. I talked about last time. So as I mentioned with visibility, the problem with these hard plastics is that I guess it also depending on how the plastic is, especially if the plastic is designed that it's once close to the face. So especially in this one, so if you're wearing like a face mask and then you breathe, what happens is the breath turns into fog, and then it makes for poor visibility. And that also would have to be subject to constant cleaning, or sometimes having to wear it as a sort of a visor, which is actually improper, since the idea of the face shield is to protect your whole face. But visibility problems make it make it so that some people use it the visor way, just to get around that problem. So I used to wear these types of face shields, the hard plastic, but the visibility visibility was such a killer. I have actually used different hard plastic face shields, and they are all terrible with visibility, sadly. The only time that visibility is not a problem if it's like rainy weather, and there's which makes it less susceptible for my breath to turn into fog. But if a weather is sunny, and then if you're all sweating and all that, your breath coming out of the face mask runs into the plastic, and then which in turn becomes fog. So that has been a problem for me with these types. Now, I mentioned before that I tend to lean more into the soft plastic face shields rather than the hard plastic, but actually that doesn't mean that that soft plastic face shields are my type. In fact, if you ask me my favorite type of face shield that I would like to use more often, it's technically not a face shield. It's this one. This is what's called a half-face face shield. The story is this: back when the authorities were prescribing the use of face shields, they did not actually specify the type of face shield that people should wear. As such, there were the whole face face shields that I presented earlier, and then there's this, the half face one. Because the idea is, if your lower half of the face is already protected with a face mask, so if we want to protect the whole face, then what just needs to be protected is the upper half, like those the eyes especially. So for a time, people were selling these types of face shields. So it kind of reminds me of those visors and all that, only clear with a clear plastic it's clear hard plastic, mind you. The advantage, of course, of these shields is that since these are half face, there's no problem of the mist or the fog going up to the eyes, since there is this area is not covered anyway. At the same time, this is hard plastic, so it's stylish. It looks good, personally at least, and they're not uncomfortable to wear, And personally, if it were up to me, I would be using these types of face shields every day or whenever I go out. The problem is some establishments decided upon themselves that the types of face shields that will be required were the whole face face shields. So for some establishments, if you're using or if you're wearing these types of face shields, they won't let you enter those establishments. And I'm not sure if the authorities even decided that the face shields that should be used should be whole face, but eventually that became the norm and they fell by the wayside. These half-face face shields fell by the wayside, which is unfortunate because like I said, they do provide ample protection, especially for the upper part of the face, since there's the face mask anyway to cover the lower half. I'll go into personal opinion here. So in my opinion, that would have been enough. I did not, and in some ways I still do not understand why there is a ban why whole face shields should be the ones we use and not the half face ones, since they do a good job anyway. And with the face mask, they do provide total protection to the face in the event of a virus transmission. But it is what it is. So that is my walkthrough of the different face shields, at least the 3 face shields that I have right now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I also hope you keep safe in the middle of this ongoing pandemic. Hopefully we can all get through this safe and healthy. Take care, everyone.